Hey guys, and welcome. Today we're taking a little bit of a break from the mighty forces of Kislev, and instead are going to the pestilent filled realms of Nurgle as we take on Tzeentch. I'm a rubber duck of war. My opponent today shall be Logic, another fantastic content creator who shall be bringing Warhammer free stuff to his channel in the future, so I'll make sure to leave a link down below in the description. Feel free to check him out. And this is a really tough and rough matchup for Nurgle in general because of the simple range superiority Tzeentch has, and Nurgle, of course, not known for their mass speed. So we've got a few schemes, though, to try to counteract this. I'm assuming my opponent's going to go for a load of pink and blue horrors and just attempt to dominate us at long range. So we have double Soul Grinder. Our Soul Grinders, each Soul Grinder is different for every single demon faction, but our ones are pretty decent anti-infantry cannons. They can fire long range and are pretty good in combat as well, and they look so juicy. Look at them. Don't you want to just go give one of these bad boys a little bit of a hug? We do have a couple of units of Nurglings as well. Looks like 1 and 2. We have a Cultist of Nurgle coming in basically completely naked. And oh my god, he looks like he's having a really rough day. Okay, he looks pretty horrifying. He's coming in with the Cloud of Flies, which will be given a bit of a melee defense buff. More importantly, he's coming with the item Gate of Nurgle. This will allow us to summon a unit of Plague Bearers. Is one use only, however. Up in the skies, we have a Herald of Nurgle using the Nurgle Law of Magic. And he is on one of these horrible bloat flies. I love their wings. It certainly reminds me of the kind of Thropters from Doom. So, for his toolkit today, he's coming in with the Locus of... oh god, I'm going to mispronounce this horribly. Fusundidity. That's what we're going to go for. Looks like it replenishes and is their faction trait. We have the Stream of Corruption as well. Nice little tier breath attack there. And Fleshy Abundance, which is a souped up regrowth, which when overcast becomes air of effect and it can catch as many units as it wants. There is no cap to it, so very powerful stuff indeed. And I look across the battlefield and my heart sinks. My opponent has a lovely counter to me. Really smart play here. So for the forces of Logic, we have triple gold chevron blue horrors, which is an interesting choice. We then have the double Soul Grinders. Now, the Soul Grinders of Tzeentch have anti-large missile attacks. They are brutal. They also look a little bit cooler, I think, with their faces, looking particularly angry. But they're going to do an absolute number on my own Soul Grinders if we fight them at long range. We also have an Exalted Lord of Change up in the skies. This is one of the ones of metal. I love how duck-like he looks. He looks very ferocious and quite ugly, if I do say so myself. Comes in with Final Transmutation, Plague of Rust, and Searing Doom, as well as the Chaos Fury summons. He can use 2 of those. So without further ado, let's get this underway. So our little Nurglings, as well as our Cultist of Nurgle and our double Soul Grinder, I considered going out to the left objective. I was like, no, I'm Nurgle. I need the center objective. That's kind of Nurgle's jam, right? You get the center one, then you defend your home one, or try and get one of the contested. So we're going to be pushing forward to the middle to face our doom. We're also going to summon 1 unit of Chaos Furies, looking to intercept the blue horrors of Tzeentch. These are just the basic ones, so we should hopefully be able to finish them off. Now, a load of damage comes in. We also get hit by a Final Transmutation on our Soul Grinders, and they're taking a beating on the approach. We are going to be able to counteract this, however, with our Fleshy Abundance, and I'm just trying to move into combat as quickly as possible and pin these guys on the back foot, and it looks like Logic really doesn't want to kind of tussle with me today. Tzeentch is going to get forced back, and because of the poison effects we can apply to them, we should be able to beat them in hand-to-hand combat, at least you would hope. So we are driving away at the moment, and you can see we've healed up our Soul Grinder really well, actually, with that Fleshy Abundance, and even our mighty Herald of Nurgle is getting down and dirty, just ripping those shields from the Soul Grinders and hopefully dragging down our opponents. So in the main center, we do have the Nurglings, as well as the Cultist of Nurgle holding the central objective for now, though they are not active yet. The Chaos Furies are doing a fantastic job up against the Blue Horrors. Now get jumped in the rear by the enemy Chaos Furies, and it's certainly going badly there. So not the best start from us, but we are driving away both the Soul Grinders. They're doing the long retreat back to their home base. Not a bad idea whatsoever. They should be able to get back here, summon some reinforcements, and drive me off. We summon some more Furies of our own to try to get to the main fight, and my opponent has used the triple gold chevron again. Blue Horrors, looks like he has a couple of these. I'll go towards objective 1. The other ones are moving up into the center here, so we should be able to claim this middle objective, I hope. Chaos Furies will be bomb rushing the Blue Horrors. We also have the Herald of Nurgle floating over here, and the big old fight of the Soul Grinders is still going on. You can see we're winning it relatively comfortably at the moment. We don't mind being in hand-to-hand combat whatsoever. Some cool animations as well as we get chucked backwards there in this duel of titans. Oh my god, we absolutely vomited like him out of existence. But there's now Forsaken coming in. There's a load more units, so I'm going to have to retreat here and try to pull back and salvage those units if I can. But I'm pretty happy with the early engagements considering the builds we brought in the initial phase here. Now, Furies are doing a decent job on the Blue Horrors, particularly combined in with the Plague Bearers. These guys were summoned in by our Cultist of Nurgle, so taking a load of damage, but hey, they're a summon, so I'm not too fussed by it, and they should be enough to drive away the Blue Horrors. Up in the skies as well, our Herald Nurgle is kind of getting his ass kicked in by the Exiled Lord of Change, so he's trying to zoom away as quickly as possible, and also both of our Soul Grinders in hot retreat here, and I'm going to be trying a little bit tactical here, and actually sneak around these big shot blockers to escape from the Soul Grinders. That's at least the plan. On the left-hand side, I was so surprised during the battle. Blue Horrors normally, I think, get beaten pretty badly by Furies, but the triple gold chevron ones are able to hold. I was like, oh my god, so I have to send over some Nurgling support as well as our chevroned up. So we're summoning Nurglings to the battlefield. We have someone on objective 3 as well, and now you can see I'm moving my Soul Grinders around this objective so they cannot be sniped out. In the main fight up in the skies, the Herald of Nurgle not having the best of days. We are going to have the Furies come in for support, though, and it looks like a Plague of Rust goes down on us, but that's not too bad, realistically. We didn't really rely on our armor that much anyway, and I'm simply going to heal up the damage I have taken. A lovely Fury summon comes in by my opponent to try and save his Exalted Lord of Change and force off my own troops. Now, Objective 2 is ours, which is very good news. Objective 1 has been held by Tzeentch, but I do have some glorious Plague Toads on their way. Plague Toads, one of my favorite units for Nurgle. They do Toad Jujitsu, they're awesome, they're relatively quick, and also can capture objectives relatively nicely. My opponent has summoned in a couple of Blue Horrors, it would seem, as well as some Spawn of Tzeentch, looking to push this central objective where possible. Soul Grinders are just grinding against Nurglings at the moment. Probably want to come over here and face our own ones. We're going to big bombardment come down. This is one of the faction traits for Tzeentch. It is roasting the Nurglings pretty good, but I have Furies on the way, I have Soul Grinders on the way, and we should be able to claim objective 3 for us. We are just about ahead at the moment in the tickets. It is first to 5,000 as usual. Nurglings are moving into the mid objective. It looks like the Cultist is having a bad day. Both Soul Grinders are beating him up, as well as the Exalted Lord of Change. I am going to be shooting in, though, a little bit sneaky here from the Soul Grinder. Looking to just pop shots in on the Forsaken if I can. Nurglings as well are able to dodge there a rather nasty and searing doom. We are starting to lose the central objective, and there's a lot of horrors coming in here. And if Nurgle lose the central objective, it normally bodes really badly for them, because having to spread your army really thin with Nurgle tends to not go super well. However, we have the Toads, and the Toads are having a feast. There's smacking the little Blue Horrors all over the place, having a whale of a day, hoppity hoppity, and taking away the Blue Horrors alive force there. They are still, held in relatively well because they are triple gold chevron. We also have some Spawn of Tzeentch on the way, but I should be able to wrestle this objective off my opponent. I'm going to be taking my Chaos Furies and trying to jump the Spawn of Chaos before they can actually get in the objective. So here's the line. In come the Furies. We stop the Chaos Spawn just before they can get in and contest. That should allow us to actually hold this objective. Main fight as well is currently still being held by us, but only just. We've got some Plague Toads in there, and they're trying to pin in the enemy. I'm not expecting to hold it for long, but the more I can delay the enemy, the better for me. We're going to do our lovely little tier attack come in there, do some decent damage to the Blue Horrors. That is also going to proc our passive, though, to get some nice heals, and we have the Soul Grinder shooting in as well. On Objective 3, we still have a Soul Grinder shooting in. There are some Screamers of Tzeentch loitering. Looks like they're waiting for their Forsaken allies to come in. This is a nice counterplay by my opponent. You get the Screamers of Tzeentch on the Soul Grinder and the Forsaken on the Nurglings. You should be having a decent day. We're currently holding at the moment just about a triple cap, which is really lovely for us. We are starting to lose multiple objectives. Plague Toads in the middle, really chewing through the Forsaken and the Blue Horrors here. So maybe there's a hope in the end, I suppose, for me to hold this middle objective. The Herald of Nurgle is going to float out onto Objective 1 just to help out a little bit, because the Spawn of Tzeentch have been quite nasty. So I've summoned some Rotflies to the battlefield. You can see them buzzing around up to no good and starting trouble in the neighborhood, trying to pull down the Spawn, who are getting poisoned as well. And that's certainly something to be said for Nurgle. They have so much access to poison, they can be quite nasty. My opponent has Blue Horrors on the rival, and I have some Pox Riders in Nurgle. We do a zoom in when they get in combat, because I don't think that unit's really been showcased much, and they're pretty damn cool. They're basically more elite Plague Toads, and Plague Toads are quite fantastic. Middle objective has fallen now. It was expected. Soul Grinder came over here to help support, as well as the Exalted Lord of Change. And yeah, the center really dominated by my opponent there. So he's got a little way to catch up on the objectives, but he's doing a good fight back here. Soul Grinder is on the way, and we have the double Soul Grinder now, surrounded by Forsaken as well as the Screamers. Screamers, very, very squishy unit all round, but can certainly sink their fangs into the rotten flesh of the Soul Grinder and start ripping out bloody chunks. In comes the second one. We are losing this just about, but very, very slow. slowly, and I do have some Nurglings on the way who should be able to help secure it. My opponent's main force is rotating now up towards Objective 1. Big fan of this play in general. I'd maybe leave one Soul Grinder behind to protect, just so I can't easily jump down on this, but I do like the push going over to Objective 1 and trying to take use of his better mobility than I have. Here you can see the Pox Riders, and they're basically what you expect. We do have some awesome little geezers riding to battle on some toads. Very cool color scheme on them as well. And some of them are in sync as well. We've got a little bit of a dance troupe going on. Doing a relatively decent job up here in the middle. Now, we do eat a big, fat, nasty final transmutation. That hurts so bad right now. Catching all 3 units who are holding this objective down for me. And now we have Forsaken being pulled in, Blue Horrors as well. I may well lose this objective. So I'm going to do something that Nurgle shouldn't do. I'm contesting multiple objectives. I'm bouncing around. I'm using mobility. I've got toads, and hey, toads, they've got to count for something. So we have more plague toads coming in. They're going to be dancing towards the central objective to apply a bit of pressure. Got some Nurglings as well bouncing between different objectives at the moment. And we do have my Soul Grinder about to go down, though. You can see how much damage these Screamers do. It's really quite nasty. I have popped one of my faction-wide abilities, Heals, on him here, just to heal him up and reduce that vigor. So maybe I'll be able to keep him in the fight and hold this objective. But we are starting to lose Objective 3. We've lost Objective 2, and Objective 1 is under big scrutiny. But even with that final transmutation, we're just about holding firm, because my opponent has been forced to come back to Objective 2 in an attempt to dethrone these Plague Toads and get them off the objective. So I wasn't able to cap it, but I was able to drag back the Soul Grinder, a couple of bits of infantry, and the Exiled Lord of Change. Now, this was a nightmare. So up in the skies, Doom Knights of Tzeentch have been summoned, and they have so much good mass. They're like knights in the sky. They were pinning in my leader. The Exalted Lord of Change came over, and I've had to summon a unit of Furies just to pin the Doom Knights in place. I know this unit is going to get summoned and die instantly, but it's worth it to save my lord, and the Herald of Nurgle is able to escape here. He's rather close to his healing cap, though, so I've had to use a lot of heals to keep him in the action as long as he has, but he's also doing some nice little bit of damage there to the Blue Horrors. So, Furies, your sacrifice will not be forgotten. The Great Plague Father will bless you with many a blight over your kind of eternal doom. Plague Toads are on the way back. We're just dominating this left-hand side with the Plague Toads. And I love the Pox Riders, man. They are so fun. They always look like they're moving in slow motion, bouncing around and just devouring and holding this objective. They've been a real standout in general. All of the Plague Toads have certainly been a big boon for me. Forsaken Tzeentch on the way. I'm quite happy to jump them as quickly as possible. Middle objective is still very secure by my opponent, and we're going to be floating out to the far side here with the Herald of Nurgle and the Plague Toads once more. Soul Grinder has appeared. It looks like he was able to drag down one of my Soul Grinders. The other one is relatively healthy here. Not doing a bad job. Just chasing off some enemy Forsaken. Maybe going to be popping a heal on it as well. Just getting nice and topped up, because it's getting a little bit dicey this game. My opponent's been a lot of pressure on a lot of the objectives. I have a massive lead, however, on the victory tickets. I'm nearly on 4,000. My opponent only at 1,600. So it's going to be a big scrap to try and hold them. Now, the Soul Grinder does some lovely animations there, but he is up against the Plague Toads, plus one of my Soul Grinders, plus my Lord. Doom Knights do swoop down to assist. I luckily have some Nurglings here, but in come the Blue Horrors. I have even more Plague Toads wrapping around. I'm desperately trying to hold Objective 3, because Objective 2, there's not much chance of me getting it at the moment, and Objective 1 is all but lost. I still have some Pox Riders holding on. Very sticky unit here, as they do some glorious Kung Fu kicks here, and we can see them bounce around up to no good. The Exalted Lord of Change probably wants to dive down into combat and just finish these guys off. The objective is being lost by me. I'm sending more Nurglings over just to apply pressure. Like, I don't think I'm going to win this, but if I can keep my opponent's army here, particularly the Exalted Lord of Change, maybe I can hold on to Objective 3, because I don't have that much longer to go. Objective 2, it's pretty much all done for. There's only one broken unit or beat-up unit Forsaken there, so I could come over and pin a bit of pressure, but I'm chucking all of my marbles on Objective 3. If I lose this objective, I'm probably going to lose the game, because it's going to be so hard to get back on the objectives once you've lost them all with Nurgle. And we're doing a good job. Plague Toads are in here. Nurglings are in here. We also have our Lord still somehow alive, though he is getting his ass beat on now by the Soul Grinder and the Doom Knights, who themselves aren't looking super healthy. There's Forsaken being pulled in and double Blue Horrors. My opponent knows he needs the triple cap. We, though, have a couple of Nurgling units coming over, and they're silver chevrons. Nurgling's fantastic at holding objectives. Objective 1 has fallen to Tzeentch. Objective 2 is fallen to Tzeentch. I am moving up with some Plague Toads. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually get this objective, but if I apply pressure, my opponent needs to pit resources here and stops him dogpiling on the objective I do indeed own, because Objective 1 is just done for right now. Good play by my opponent, wrestling that one from my hands. In comes the spawn of Tzeentch, and luckily they have to fight over this one rather than objective number 3. I am summoning Chaos Furies to the battlefield. My opponent is bringing more pink horrors, just trying to bomb rush this objective. And look at this absolute flustercluck of madness. We do a little slow motion shot there of the Nurglings whipping their hair around, attacking the Doom Knights. It is a crazy flustercluck of a fight. There is Soul Grinders galore jumping around. We have the beautiful Manta Rays, aka the Flatfishes in here as well, doing some decent damage with their lovely swooping animations. The screams of Tzeentch are rather nasty. The Plague Toads holding down though, trying to pin my enemy out of the objective zone. I don't want him getting in, so I'm trying to keep these guys as far away as possible. My opponent force pulling through, which is definitely what you should be doing. All of my units, I've given up trying to destroy this Soul Grinder. I don't care about it. I need to kill the enemy infantry to stop them capping the objective, and it looks green at the moment, which is very, very good news for me because I'm so close to winning. Applying pressure to the middle. I'm not going to be able to catch it though because there are Forsaken here as well as Spawn, but we're doing a relatively decent job. I have more Nurglings on the warpath, desperately trying to flood in to the objective. It is still green, and green is the color of victory for Nurgle. A close victory, a real scrappy affair as well. We had a pretty dominant lead in the end on the tickets, but I had my entire army on this one objective. I had to hold it. If I lost this objective, it would have been very, very hard for me to wrestle it back. So well played to Logic, a fantastic game. You're going to be seeing quite a few games between me and him, actually. We've been doing a ton of practice. I think the next couple of games may be up against him. Very talented player himself and a fantastic caster as well. So feel free to go check out his YouTube channel. I believe it is logic_EU, but you can also find a link. Hopefully I'll remember to put a link down below in the description. Or in the comments, actually. But anyway, well played to my opponent. Really fun game all round, and quite an interesting opening gambit from both of us. It was such a strange fight with the double Soul Grinds. I wonder who's did better. So we got 1,500 damage value and 818, 173 kills. 2,100 damage value and 711. Okay, this Soul Grind in particular really did shine quite a bit. That was an awesome scrap. Now, I will get into the damage dealt and damage value and kills of these units and the reinforcement units so we can see how all the units got on. Before then, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a big fat thumbs up as well as subscribing to the channel for more glorious Warhammer content into the future. Feel free to comment down below what you thought of the battle. What was your favourite moment? Scream a blood-curdling rage, or bubbling rage, I suppose, of like infected screams if you wanted Nurgle to win, or you can leave some sad cries of Tzeentch if you wanted the mighty Tzeentch boys to win themselves. Feel free as well to check out a load of links in the description. We've got Twitch in there, Patreon in there, Discord in there. Twitch has been very quiet for a while, but once the game is kind of in full effect, I'll be doing a load of stuff on Twitch as well. So, let's check out the build. Back to the glorious battle. So the Herald of Nurgle, 720 damage value isn't crazy, but he main use to be honest was the heals. He healed up the Soul Grinders, kept them in the fight, healed himself, distracted the enemy a lot, and was a general bit of a nuisance. I do love the mount as well. They are very cool looking. The Mighty Soul Grinder of Nurgle, 104 kills, 1,500 damage value, not bad whatsoever. The other one, 73 kills and 800 value. The Mighty Cult of Nurgle, only 5 gold value. He did manage to get a summon off though, and you know, that helps quite a bit. And the little Nurglings, they're not really here to ever dish out damage. They just got 99 damage value, and it seems like they were just full health. I guess maybe I summoned them at the end once more. As for reinforcements, I don't think we got to use the Plague Drones of Nurgle, unfortunately. They're actually a ranged air unit, which is pretty interesting. I'm quite excited to try them up against factions like Kislev and see how they get on. We also didn't get to activate the Plague Drones of Nurgle, unfortunately. We did, though, however, use the Pox Riders of Nurgle. Only 380 damage gold value on them with 91 kills. They were mainly just killing little blue horrors. Very tanky, though. Very durable, much like the Plague Toads. Just such a sticky unit for your opponent to deal with. The Rot Flies are pretty cool. 400 value on them. And then it comes to the Plague Toads, and I'm all about the Toad life when it comes to Nurgle. I'm all about it. It's so good. 126 kills, 30 kills, 8 kills, and 68 with 693, 662, 30, and 280 damage value. But again, we're Nurgle. We're not here for the damage. We're here to claim objectives and scream supreme. The Furies did a really good job. 1,100 damage gold value on this unit of 102 kills. Remember, this does count in all the times they were summoned, and most of these units were brought in multiple times. 370 value on the other unit with 95 kills and 200 value with 37 on the other. The little Nurglings, basically no damage dealt across the board and very low kills, but they're so good at holding objectives, it can really be a big pain in the butt for your opponent. Exalted Lord of Change of Metal, 2,765 gold value. Very nice work, kept him alive the entire time. Some nasty final chance mutations and good uses of Serum Doom as well. I like his battlefield presence in general. Soul Grinders Tzeentch, 2.1k value with 15 kills and then 711. Really nice counter to large threats. I've used double against Terracotta Sentinels before, and they can roast them in seconds. 1,190 value on the little blue horrors, who were triple gold chevrons. Good Doom Knight play as well, 2.2k value. Oh, that is disgusting with 20 kills. Very fast, very mobile. Good counter to my Lord as well. If they can catch him and pin him in place, he just cannot escape without having to sacrifice other units in there. Spawn did okay. I quite like the Tzeentch Spawn because of the shields as well, giving that little bit of extra durability. 935 value on them. Is there anything else crazy? Forsaken, 1,000 value, 479. The others a little bit on the lower hundreds. The Screamers of Tzeentch did a really good job. 1,776 damage value really isn't bad whatsoever. And the other blue horrors were kind of sacrificed onto the capture points to try and wrestle them from me. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.